Hello, my name is Harold Thompson. I'm with Married Life Ministries, and this is a ministry on marriage. And as you very well know, we talk about marriage every single episode. There's nothing else that we talk about. Today, we want to take it one step further. We want to talk about forgiveness in a marriage. We want to talk about forgiveness because we feel that there's a lot of things that can possibly go wrong in a marriage. And oftentimes, those things require forgiveness. The biggest challenge that we see is that most people don't understand what forgiveness is and what it means. With forgiveness, there's a certain amount of um, forgiveness that has to take place between the husband and the wife. And if one is not willing to release the feelings that come along with forgiveness, then they, by definition, have not actually forgiven the other person. Um, when we say forgiveness is not simply just talking about um, telling someone that we forgive them and that we don't no longer hold it against them, but we have to take that one step further, and we have to not only not hold it against them, but the next thing that we have to do is we have to have no feelings about it anymore. So, whatever the act that was committed, our feelings have to dissipate, they have to go away. So, whenever that subject comes up, it does not warm our body, run up our blood pressure, make us feel uncomfortable because we have given up all the feelings about forgiveness. A lot of time marriages are ruined because whenever one of the husband or the wives make a mistake in the marriage, they're oftentimes told that they are forgiven. However, the person who is forgiving has not and sometimes does not understand what it takes to forgive. So I know someone that had been married for 25 years. And early on in the marriage, there was some things that went wrong, marital indiscretions. And the wife told the husband that he was forgiven. And however, she truly did not forgive him because it would often come up in a conversation again and again and again, year after year. And when that happened, it also had feelings with it. So a lot of times they could be talking about one subject, and it will lead back to that indiscretion in the marriage, and then what they were discussing no longer was important. It moved over to the indiscretion that had happened many years ago. So whenever we hold something, hold forgiveness from someone, or we fully don't forgive someone, we have to understand that it's not only damaging to the person that's withholding the forgiveness, but it's also damaging to the person who is looking for forgiveness. One thing about the past that people really need to be aware of: the past, no one can outlive the past. No one can live up to or change the past. We only have the future and we have the present. That's all we have. So if the past is constantly and continually uh, brought up in conversation to the person who committed the indiscretion in the marriage, it's going to make them feel less than what they should feel in that marriage, and it's going to have them feeling guilt and some other feelings that could possibly be associated with it. But the person who the indiscretion was committed against must understand that sometimes when forgiveness is withheld, it actually does more damage to the person who had this indiscretion done against them. And the reason I say that because they don't quite ever get over the wrongdoing. So they cannot forgive. They always have feelings about it. And what they do, they tend to take these feelings into the future, and they also live with them in the present. Now, if you're taking everything in your past and you're bringing it into your present and your future, you are constantly living in the past. So when you live in the past, you can have no more than what has happened in the past. You can't have a future. Your future is already robbed. You can't have a present. Your present day is robbed because you are still looking at the past and you're living accordingly. There are many people in relationships who were hurt in past relationships, and they tend to bring those hurt feelings into newer relationships. And sometimes they do not give these newer relationships an opportunity to work because they're still living in the past. So when a young lady who was hurt in the past and she brings those feelings with her, that feeling of unforgiveness with her, and she meets this guy, he's really a nice guy, and she really likes him, but she's going to use the past to judge this guy. And she's using this based on her past history, those things that happened in the past, and that's going to hurt her relationship because she cannot live in the present or she cannot live in the future with this guy. So it's very, very important that we understand that we must forgive each other. I don't care how delicate the situation may be, I don't care how hurtful the situation may be, we must find a way to forgive that person. Actually, forgive means to give up the wrong idea for the right idea. Okay, to give up the wrong idea for the right idea. Well, how do you give up the wrong idea for the right idea? So whatever indiscretion that occurred in the marriage was the wrong idea, and now you give that up for the right idea. The right idea is the correction and the promise to never have that discretion happen again, to love and to cherish that person, and to have that person understand that it was a mistake. So you're giving up what happened, which is the wrong idea, to take on the right idea. So that's what forgiveness is. And remember, when you have forgiveness, you cannot have feelings about it anymore. You have to find a way to get rid of those feelings. And one of the ways you do that is to understand how damaging it is to you and to your spouse to carry those feelings with you. So you get over that by, in your mind, telling yourself that even though he or she committed this act, whatever the indiscretion may have been, this is still a good person, and you focus on the positive in that person. See, there are people out there who truly make mistakes in marriage and they realize they did the wrong thing. But just because a person makes a mistake in a marriage does not mean that person is not overall a very good person and that person is not right for you. That person is right for you, but the person, like all human beings, sometimes make mistakes. So we have to look at the positive aspect of forgiving someone. And then we have to build in our minds a positive collateral so that we are able to fall and look on that collateral when things tend to go bad. If we don't have that positive collateral build up in our minds, then we're going to have a difficult time because forgiveness is about positivity. It's about being positive. And it's about the ability to give up the old idea, the wrong idea for the right idea. And that's all it is. It's simply a mental thing. We all are capable of forgiveness. It starts in the mind. Okay. So if we can convince our mind that we have forgiven someone, then we can truly forgive that person and we can truly have no feelings about whatever that act that was committed against us. But we must remember, if we withhold forgiveness, we're hurting ourselves more than the person who actually committed the indiscretion. So what I want you to do, I want you to work on forgiveness. Now, it is a tall order. It is definitely a tall order because it is emotional and it's about feelings. So if someone has done something against you, and whenever you see that person, you automatically have a feeling about that person, and you have old ideas that you have not given up yet for the new ideas of that person, then you still have a lot of work to do. And there's nothing wrong with knowing that you have work to do. The thing is, we need to realize that we have work to do. Don't discount it and say, well, look, I have forgiven that person, when you know deep down inside you're still having feelings about whatever act that person did against you. So we must continue to work with it, continue to be positive, and continue to put positive collateral in our minds about that person still being a good person. Now, if we also take it one step further, we will understand that whoever that person is, whatever act they committed against me, we have to understand that there's still a God inside of that person. And what we're seeing is just a mask. So that person is God as he moves throughout time and space as he wears a mask. So be careful how you not forgive people and not have feelings about what you have forgiven them for, because that is very, very toxic in any relationship, and it stunts all growth, or if it does not take away all the future growth in a relationship. Since you have no future, since you have no present, if you're living in the past because you continue to bring up these things over and over and over again, you're doing yourself a great, great disservice. So please learn how to forgive each other. It is so vitally important that you do that, because life is too short. It's too short to walk around and you're holding something against a person for 5, 10, 15 years. And as you hold this against them, you have these emotions and you have these feelings about it. Your body reacts in a chemical way when you hold these feelings. Just imagine when you are afraid. Look at the chemical process that your body goes through. Look at when you're emotional. Look at the chemical process that your body goes through. Look at when you're happy. Look at the chemical process that your body goes through. Look at when you hold guilt, when you hold unforgiveness from someone. Look at the chemical process that your body goes through. And what it does, it actually changes the cells in your body. And it makes you not the person that God has called you to be, because you're holding on to something that you should have let go long, long time ago. Look, that's our message for today. Thank you so very much for stopping by Merit Life Ministries. Like I said, like this video, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. And if you see that red bell over there, go ahead and click on that red bell. And that way, next Tuesday morning, we will come with a different message. You'll be the first to know. Thank you so very much for stopping by our channel. You have a wonderful day.